restoration practitioner coming on today. Very pleased and proud to introduce the new you to you. Today, I begin the 50th decade of my life, and I would like to announce the fact that I accept and embrace the fact that I just went through a major transition within my journey. And I want to give first a big shout out to Mr. or Mrs. E. Jarvis that took the time to type so many words of not just encouragement, but redirection and validation and assurance that what I am doing is a good thing. But I also wanted to come on today at the top and the tip of my 50th decade journey is I want to apologize to you or anyone else who may have come across any of my videos or my content that may have heard one of my, I call them responses to one of my many past traumas and triggers that I have, because I never try to appear that I'm perfect or that I don't have any struggles. So I just thought that today would be the best day and the perfect day to come on and just apologize if I have ever offended anyone. I have been counseled on how aggressive I can be. I have been checked on how my choosing of words may not be ideal. So one thing that I do know is that I care. Okay, I care enough to listen to these messages, and I care enough to change. And I know that change is very, very, very difficult because it's difficult for me too. But I just thought that I would come on this morning to offer you all the new Miss Tanya, which I'm going to put forth an effort to be very professional and not have to bring up my past struggles. I mean, I have a lot of them. I've been an alcoholic. I have been a drug addict. I've been a pill addict. I've been to jail multiple times along my journey. I embarked on a gang member journey. I've been depressed. I've been stressed. I have had anxiety attacks, I've been married, I've been divorced, I've had children. So I have been counseled to understand that you don't have to really bring up your past traumas. What you just got to do is embrace them, learn from them, and then move forward. So today's live is all about you all, about your struggles or anything that you may want to talk about or discuss with me this morning. I'm here to answer any questions because I now realize that this channel is for you. My time is for you. My knowledge is for you. My recommendations are all for you. My product is for you. My alternative solutions are for you. So I don't want to push anyone away, and I surely don't want to upset anyone nor offend anyone with my traumas. Hello, Barin. How are you this morning? Good morning, Queen. I'm not sure about you all. Thank you so much, Barin, for saying that. I love you too, and I think you are beautiful as well. But what I'm coming on this morning to do is offer you all the opportunity to ask me any questions that you may have, whether it be about your hair. You may be struggling with an itchy scalp, or you may wonder why you have flakes. Greetings, everyone. Good morning. Get in here. Get in here. You may also be struggling with wondering why your ends of your hair are always tangled. I want to help us to look at the whole, which is holistics, which is what I am. I'm a holistic practitioner, and a practitioner means that I practice the same thing on everyone. I'm also a holistic mental wellness facilitator, not a therapist. What a facilitator means is that I am experienced in facilitating holistic mental wellness on a holistic level. So I just want you all to know that you're in a safe space and that I'm growing and maturing because today I've turned 50. Greetings, MS. It probably was a spirit, MS. I am anointed and appointed, and so I now realize that there are a lot of spirits that love to hang around me. Um, but I've learned how to even look at the whole and do the research, even with spirits. So I've had to learn that spirits do not and never do hurt you. Good morning, Queen. Did you know that? Spirits don't hurt you. Spirits are just those individuals that did not fully transition, and so their spirit remains here on earth. I don't believe in ghosts, but I do believe in spirits. I mean, there's always things dropping around me and falling off the walls and all that type of thing. So I'm always aware that I call them my angels that are walking with me and that are constantly around me. Like, I don't know if you all have ever noticed when there's pennies in your path when you're walking. Those are angels. I mean, you can label things however you want. You can say that they're ghosts or spirits. I say that they're angels. So I do have a lot of angels that stay with me because they feel safe with me, and the spirits also feel comfortable with me because they know that I have a holistic mindset and they know that I understand that they have not transitioned. And I also understand how to make them feel comfortable and safe in my presence so that they can transition fully. Greetings, Donald Duck. Your mama worked hard for that. She takes it good. But thank you, Donald. Thank you, Donald, and good morning. So, as I said before, let's jump right in. So, what I wanted to come on, like I said, is to just expose you all to my morning routine. Um, I'm not gonna lie, I slept in my smocks because I'm here at a staycation and fell asleep quite early and didn't mean to, but ended up sleeping fully clothed. So I'm fresh out the bed. This is how I wake up. And I want to just come on and just expose what I do for my beauty and my morning routine. So I want to go over all of this and just want you all to know that you can ask any questions that you may have. So for me, I've done a lot of research, and I also want you all to understand that I'm a licensed cosmetologist. Oh, thank you. I hope that I can buy you some one day. I'll tell you where I got it from. I got this from the pawn shop because I'm not on that level yet to really afford Cuban herringbones like this. But I seen one in the pawn shop. I put it on layaway, which is the best way for us ladies to get jewelry. We shouldn't feel like we gotta wait on a man. I've bought all my jewelry myself. My bracelets I've bought. And listen, I took some coins and decided to put, I don't know if you can see that. It says MYWater on this is called a tag. I'm going to hand this down to my granddaughter. This is generational jewelry. But the pawn shops, ladies, are the most easiest way to obtain real jewelry at that. Because what I want you to understand, what I've learned along my journey in my 10s, 20s, and 30s and 40s, is that real jewelry is an asset. Let me tell you what I mean. I do the holistics with a lot of different things. So what I've done is I've looked at the whole and I'm like, dang, I don't know about you all, but I struggle, and I'm not afraid to admit that. Even at my level, there are days where I don't have enough money. I don't have the amount of money that I need to manage at that time. So I realize that when you buy jewelry and you buy real jewelry, a pawn shop, you can always take it to a pawn shop and get some money for it. And it doesn't mean that you have to give the jewelry to them. You do what's called a loan, and they'll give you the money and they hold your jewelry for collateral. You make monthly payments to pay it back, and you get your jewelry back. I've done that so many times where I've had to, strip at the pawn shop counter because I hit a struggle. And when you do things like this, you're being responsible and wise by getting jewelry. So thank you for that. And I just wanted to share that that's how I got my jewelry. It's not like I can afford to go and buy real jewelry. And the pawn shops is an amazing alternative solution, because that's what doing the holistics is all about. Looking at everything involving the problem, right? So when it was like, how do I get jewelry? I thought I had to go wait, get a man to buy me my jewelry. Because that's like the traditional process, right? You got to wait for a man to buy you a ring, or wait for a man to buy you a necklace. So I decided to look at the holistics, and I found an alternative solution, which is going to the pawn shop. So thank you, Queen, for asking that question and commenting. I love you. Where are you all joining me from as I get ready to begin my holistic facial cleansing that I do every single morning? And listen, I do not use tap water or soap anymore. And if you would like to know why, I'll tell you. But one of the approaches that I do follow is, I have to get just a little closer, is holistically cleansing my face, because I did not realize what tap water and soap does to us. Look at how hydrated just the difference between my forehead and my face is when you use my water. My water is not nothing like tap water. It actually hydrates and cleanses and removes what's on the surface. So you're watching me do what's called a self-facial. And a lot of individuals, when they're cleaning their faces, they're going way too fast, and they're not being thorough enough for the surface or for the circumstance. And so, listen, I never really understood and paid attention to what the tap water and soap combination was doing to my face. And this new approach does not give us that effect. Let me explain. I don't care where you live. Every single time you put tap water and soap on your face, oh, I love how I can get my product in my eyes. It's so safe. It's that safe that you can drink it and you can get it in your eyes. Yet it's effective. I've never had a product. Have you all ever had a product that you can drink and get into your eyes? Hey, Lash Tech's public service announcement. We finally have something that we can thoroughly, I can feel the slipperiness of your hairs, because your eyelashes are porous. And I did never stop to do the holistics to think about the fact that while we're laying in the bed all night, do you realize you only cover your body? So your face is collecting all that dust that is falling, just like your dresser is collecting all that dust. And I never stopped to think like, oh my God, my own face is collecting all that dust too. And that's why our face looks a little ashy when we get up in the mornings. Sometimes we know that we tend to have some, it's called slobber, but it's the fluid that comes out of the body. And I don't know why they have different words for it, but I've done the holistics with the bodily fluids, and it's all the same fluid. I'm not sure why they call it different names, like boogers, spit, tears, sweat. It's all, and that stuff that comes from down below, it's all the same thing. It's all sweat. So I'm not sure why it's called tears, because it comes out the eye. They call it boogers and snot because it comes out the nose. They call it spit or saliva if it comes out the mouth. So as a younger individual, all of that confused me, and I thought it was a different type of liquid because they all had a different type of name. So once I did the holistics with that, it was like, oh my God, that all means the same fluid. But when we get up in the mornings to put soap and tap water on that, do you realize that you're adding more contaminants to your face? Because I don't think we stop to know or to pay attention to the fact that all soaps are not made the same. Matter of fact, I'm here in a hotel, and this is the soap that they have here in my bathroom, and it's called Bodyography. It's professional skincare. But we're going to look at the ingredients so that we can learn if it's safe for us or not. Okay. I am here at the Horseshoe up here in Black Hawk, Colorado. Today's my 50th birthday, so I decided to take us a little staycation. Have you all ever taken, Queen, have you taken a staycation before? It's so essential to do. You've got to get away from your everyday normal life and take a mental break. Because I've even had to learn, Queen, that I can't even really rest right when I'm at home. Have you noticed that? When I'm at home, I have so many distractions. Thank you, Queen. Thank you, honey. I have so many distractions at home that I never really rest. When I come to a hotel, I have nothing else to do but rest, right? My product bottles are not staring at me in the face. The kitchen, the dishes that are on the counter ain't staring at me. So I've learned for me that by coming to a hotel and I don't really spend a lot of money when you do a staycation, so I've had to do the holistics with that too, because I was kind of misled to believe that in order for you to really take like a break from your life, I thought I had to buy a plane ticket, and leave town. And it's like, no, you can just get you a hotel in your city. You can even get it around the corner from your house if you want to, not even be that far away. But just stay in the hotel for a little while and it'll give you an amazing break. So let's go back to this soap. So the first ingredient is sodium palmate. Now, a lot of this is not what's called a US-based soap. So the ingredients, everyone, is in another language. And sometimes you have to be able to identify that you're reading a different language. So you have to do the translation in that language in order to understand exactly what the words mean. And so there's salt in here mixed with glycerin and fragrance. And also I want you all to understand, when you see the word fragrance on any cosmetic, that means alcohol. You know, they have all these different words. Remember, tears, boogers, and spit, it's all the same liquid. So fragrance means alcohol. And if you have sensitive skin like myself, which is why I got to use a holistic water instead of these soaps and tap water, I don't want certain ingredients on my face because, in fact, things like alcohol is very difficult to remove from the surface, from any surface. So I've learned that we have to read these ingredient lists because there's also acetate in here, which is usually found in fingernail polish remover. So I'm not sure why they thought that was an ideal ingredient to put into a soap that's going to be used on the body. So I would not use this soap. I actually travel with my own soap. Let me show you. Because this is what I've had to learn to do, because only you really can take care of yourself. And sometimes when we choose to access these free options, you could be causing more problems. Let me look at the other stuff. So back to the origin of this video, which was coming on to just, again, apologize to my tribe and to anyone else who I may have offended, or I may have, made uncomfortable due to who I am and the way I talk and the way I speak. I tell everybody I can only be me. But now that I've turned 50, and I genuinely care. I always have cared about how people feel. I know I'm not supposed to care, but I was embarking on that this morning. Like, I thought I was supposed to not care when I turned 50, but I'm still caring. So I thought that I would jump on and just say, I care, and that I apologize if I offended anyone. So I'm going to wrap my hair real quick because I know that this is something that a lot of individuals struggle with. And I have to be honest with you, I've done the holistics and the researches when it comes to straightening your hair. And there's all these different words that mean the same. So pressed, silk pressed, and flat ironed all means the same. It means that you have altered your hair pattern with heat. So one of the part of the culture of silk pressing is being able to not just wrap, but wrap right. And I also have done the research with wrapping to have learned that a lot of women at home struggle with wrapping because they are either wrapping with the wrong kind of wrap, they're not using the right kind of brush to wrap with, they did not prep the hair before wrapping their silk press, or they're only using one wrap to wrap with. So I thought that coming on this morning to show how I wrap my silk press would be helpful, because that's what I'm all about. I'm all about sharing the things that I do and that I know how to do and that I know about in an effort to help your journey become a little easier than mine was, because my journey was hard because you all weren't with me on my journey, but I want to be here with you along yours. Queen, does curling and straightening your hair really burn it? No, great question. So there is a huge misconception about heat in the market, and I used to always wonder, where is all this coming from? Because let me just give you my history, everyone. I'm 50 years old today. I was born in 1975, and doing hair is my passion. So I've been within the industry as young as when I was in middle school. And so when I got to high school, when I got to Manual High School here in Denver, I did not know that they had a cosmetology department in the basement. And so this was back in 1988 when I got to high school, 89 when I got to high school. And at that point, the service was called a shampoo, blow dry, press, and curl. So I have to admit, Miss Queen, there was no conditioner involved in the service. There was no heat protectant involved in the service. There was no oil involved in the service either, nor was there any edge control or gel or any of these tubes of sticky stuff. None of that was on the market back then. And guess what? Everyone's hair was just fine. No one was suffering hair loss. Nobody was losing their edges. And I now realize that that's why, because all of these products came to the market. But what I want you to know, Queen, heat by itself is not damaging. It's what's on the hair is what causes the heat to be damaging. And here's where I realize we never stop to think about your sweat. I wish our hair turned yellow when we got sweat on it, because at least you would know. You'd be like, uh-oh, I got sweat build up at the scalp. I need to shampoo my hair, but we don't get that type of a signal. So I think a lot of times, a lot of individuals, especially women, tend to think that maybe I don't have it. But when you choose to straighten your hair and you have not washed your hair, you have sweat and dust and dander. I don't know if you smoke attaches to our hair. Smoke is measurable. I never stopped to think about that. So that's a lot of different stuffs that you could have present on the hair before flat ironing. So what I tell everyone, there's rules to every game and there's exceptions to every rule. So what I tell my clients and what I do myself, Queen, is if you know you don't have time to wash your hair and you need to smooth yourself because you want to be on point and you want your hair to look good, you want to turn the heat temperature setting all the way down. Why? Now, I know you may say, well, Miss Tanya, that ain't gonna do nothing. Yes, it is. Because at the time that you're going to refresh, every single strand didn't get frizzy. So only certain strands have gotten frizzy, and it's usually just in your ends or at the root. So if you turn the heat setting down, Queen, you'll never heat damage your hair. Heat damage comes from not washing your hair and using high heat. Listen, our hair is just like our clothes. I've done the holistics with heat as well and with our hair. And what I like to kind of give you, which is called an analogy that'll help you to connect, is think of your hair like your clothes, okay? Now, I don't know about you, Queen, but when I was little, I used to wear dirty clothes because my mother didn't buy me a whole bunch of clothes, so I didn't have, well, I did have enough shirts, but I didn't like all the shirts that I had for the week, so I would wear the same shirt more than once. I realized sometimes it would get wrinkled, right? That's what our hair does, right? And so I didn't want to take the time to wash the shirt because it takes time to wash the shirt, right? Same thing with our hair. So instead of washing the shirt, I would go and put the shirt in the clothes dryer, right? And I noticed that if I put it on the ironing board, that iron seemed to damage my shirt. It would melt it. It would kind of scorch it and turn it a different color. And sometimes it stunk. It had this odor, you know what I mean? And it would cause damage. I heat damaged my shirt. But I don't care how dirty the shirt is. If I put it in the clothes dryer, I never damaged the shirt. So now I realize the same analogy applies with our hair. Because listen, Queen, if heat was really damaging, we all behind the chair would have to go get a job. Because I don't just use heat, but I use Marcel heat in my salon. Excuse me, I don't have a salon, in my private practice. And I never burn anyone's hair. Now, when I was using conditioner, I was burning hair. When I was using serums, I was burning hair. When I was adding heat protectants, I was always burning hair. There was always an odor. There was always a whole bunch of smoke. And now I realize that none of that is normal nor proper practice. So thank you so much, Queen, for being so confident in clearing your confusion and asking a question, because a lot of individuals are not comfortable with clearing their confusion or learning more. So I thank you, Queen, for being you, because I'm sure that that's a question that other individuals that still press their hair have as well. So another thing that I've learned as well is an alternative solution to risking damaging the hair with the heat. Just like I said about the clothes dryer, if everyone used a Silverbird blow dryer, this blow dryer straightens your hair. Would you like for me to demonstrate it here on this slide? Because I will. But with the use of the pick, now I know that beauty school inspired us to use the brush technique, which does work, but brushes snag. And if you have ends that have not been trimmed consistently, you may be causing excessive hair loss through use of a bristle brush while pulling on it while the hair is wet. And while your hair is wet, it's in its weakest state. So I have found an alternative solution to using the pick and a 2,000 watt blow dryer so that it straightens your hair and not just blows air through it. So thanks. That's a really good question, Queen, to ask about heat. I know that there is a big misconception right now in the market, in the industry, about thinking that you need heat protectant in order to press your hair, and you don't. You don't. You can put it on there, but please forgive me. So I wanted you to know that these things that I have found out could be causing the heat damage. And I did not know that I was heat damaging my own hair, because no one really ever took the time, to walk me through every single thing that comes along with straightening your hair with heat. So now I'm proud to state that as long as you use MYWater Beauty Solution after your last rinse and leave this in the hair instead of leaving the tap water as the last step on your hair, you won't suffer a lot of heat damage at all. In fact, you'll be able to silk press your hair safely without adding any product, and therefore you won't heat damage any section of your hair, whether it be the roots or the ends. Also, another thing about silk pressing, since you brought it up, that I have learned is that the type of flat iron you use matters, because there are some damaging flat irons that I feel are not as productive as others. Let me explain. So I don't know if you're about like me, Queen, but I used ceramics like for the majority of my career. I thought ceramics were like best for black hair. And now that I've done the research, they're not. The titaniums are best. When I did the study and the test, I used the ceramic plate on the same head that I use these titanium plates. And the ceramic plate made me do at least 3 to 5 passes sometimes in order to get the consistency of straightness from the root to the ends. When I use the titanium plate, it's got, because it doesn't have the coating on the plate, it grips so much better on the hair and allows the hair to become way straighter with just one pass. So in addition, and then they also have tourmaline flat irons on the market as well, which is another name for, so it's a coating. It's a type of coating that's on the plate. And now that I know what I know, if we really want that ultimate top-notch straightness, you don't want a coating on your plate. You definitely want to rock with a titanium plate. And Red by Kiss sells real affordable ones. I know Babyliss sells a titanium plate, but that is very expensive. And I've had to do the research to understand that sometimes we're paying for the label when the product is the same. So titanium, make sure that it's a titanium plate, and then also make sure it's the right size, because I have learned that you may buy the right kind, but you may buy the wrong size for your hair length. So there are pencil flat irons. I think I thought I brought my pencil, but I guess I didn't. But there's what's called a pencil flat iron. This is a 3/4 inch flat iron. They have 1 inch, and then they have what's called a 1.5 inch. If you have short hair, a 1 inch flat iron is too big. That's going to cause you a struggle, and it's not going to get your hair completely straight, because the 1 inch is too big to really manage your roots. So you got to go smaller if you have shorter hair. Now, if you have long hair, the 1 inch or the 1.5 inch flat iron is ideal for you, because a small flat iron may cause you to make buckles in your hair, or it may cause you to curl it or do something that you don't want done because your hair is so long. So all of these different components and crips and crevices are all so equally important when it comes to straightening your hair. So, as I said, I'm getting ready to wrap my hair to demonstrate how I do it, because this is my morning routine. I have already hydrated my face with MYWater Beauty Solution, which is also the product I hydrate my hair with. I think that's pretty amazing that I discovered a product that works both on our hair and our skin. There's never been any other product on the market that does so, and a product so safe that you can drink it. We all know that we can't drink what we're currently using, what you use on your face and your hair. So, as I mentioned before, the first step to wrapping is you gotta prep the hair. You can't just wrap frizzy hair. I tell all my clients, wrapping does not straighten your hair. Wrapping protects the straightness of your hair. So if you wake up like I do, where I'm not kinky, but I'm not really straight either, then when I unwrap, I'm gonna still have these buckles and these bumps in the takedown, and that's not what we want when we unwrap. And I tell a lot of clients too, that if you're still having to plug up a flat iron after you've unwrapped, you're not wrapping right. Or if you notice that your ends have buckles, that means that you didn't smooth over the forehead properly. So let's get started with the first step to wrapping, which is prepping your hair. Also, here's a hack. Your hair wraps better when it's hot. So when you try to wrap it when it's cool, you're fighting it and it's much, much harder versus when it's hot. So let me show you how it goes, y'all. So I take my bangs and I just go forward to straighten my edges. And watch, my hair is about to look totally different than it just did when I get up in the mornings. I love this blow dryer. To get the back as well. And it's just an amazing reset. I love it. Look at my bangs. They weren't flush like that when I woke up. So check me out. It completely straightened my bangs. And now I'm ready to wrap. So I use a brush. I know a lot of individuals that use combs and paddle brushes, which is fine, but I found in my research studies that those tend to struggle because a bristle brush was the best tool that wrapped the hair the best during my study. So I've learned to only use a bristle brush. Now with wrapping, it's not just a 1, 2, 3 around your head. It's a process. So what I tell my ladies is you want to always start in the back with making a C-shaped motion. You also have to hold the top down. If you don't hold the top down, the top's going to bunch up. And then that's going to cause you buckles and bumps in your hair when you take your wrap down, and you're going to have to plug up a flat iron, and you've now have messed up the whole wrapping effort. So holding the top as you brush is what keeps it flush, okay? And then also, the more you brush, the smoother the wrap area will become, okay? And remember, holding the top just keeps everything in place. You see that? Also, the wrap area is not across the forehead, it's above the forehead. That's a big mistake that most individuals make and wonder why when they unwrap, their hair is crinkled on one side. And that's because you took your hair across your forehead instead of over the forehead. And I'll show you what I mean here in a minute. So as you're watching me, I'm picking up, so I'm about to add that hair, you see that, into the wrap. Now, I do know also there are times, especially if you got MYWater hair, that it may fall when you're wrapping. That's where product comes into play. And I highly recommend that you use a light, any type of a light product, not a heavy product, so that you're not weighing your silk press down. So now that I've gotten my bangs, now I'm gonna address my sides and bring that around too. You gotta keep brushing and you gotta be thorough to ensure that you're not leaving any buckles in the wrap area. And you can feel them with your hands when you're going around and filling your wrap. If you feel any humps or bumps, don't leave that like that, or else you're gonna have to plug up the flat iron. And when you plug up the flat iron, that could be danger for heat damage. So you see how I'm working the hair above my forehead? That's the proper process to ensure that your hairs don't catch your sweat while you sleep, because we all sweat overnight while we sleep. So I am just, and the more you brush, ladies, I mean, the better your wrap. You're going to be so much happier in the mornings when you unwrap. You'll be able to just unwrap and go. So now that I have gotten the back up and over my earlobe And understand, my hair is trained. I've been wrapping for at least 20 years now. Now I'm just finishing by ensuring, did you see how I just took my sides up and over the forehead, not across the forehead, okay? Then, once I'm done, I then take a Velcro wrap. Now, the reason you want to use this Velcro wrap is because scarves by themselves are always going to pop off, and that is the most frustrating thing for you to wake up in the middle of the night and realize that you done hit a hot flash and your butt started sweating and your scarf ain't on your head, because we all know at that point your silk press is jacked up and now you got to silk press your whole head. So the whole purpose of wrapping is to ensure that your wrap doesn't come off. So good morning, David from New York. I'm good. How are you? I'm just demonstrating how I protect and wrap my hair when I shower, which is what I'm getting ready to do, and was just sharing my morning routine with others in case they're struggling with their tap water and soap approach, or they're struggling with anything else. I just thought I'd come on because it's my 50th birthday today, and I wanted to take my day to give back to you all to just help, because that's what I love doing. I love helping others. So the Velcro, okay, these are sold in any beauty supply store, and they have a Velcro to them that attaches. See that? And what this will do is this actually serves as like a handle for your scarf, and it keeps it from popping off. This also keeps your wrap area extremely tight and from moving and messing up while you're turning in your bed. So I put it on first, and here's the kicker. Here's one of my alternative solutions, which is turning your wrap one full turn after you've placed it on your, thank you, David. So you take it and you turn one full turn. This not only tightens your wrap, but even in your scarves, when you go to do this tennis shoe tie, little do you know you're buckling your hair under your scalp, under that knot. And if you don't address it, that area of your hair is going to be all crinkled when you take it down. So you have to turn your wraps like your watch. I don't know if you guys can see it turning like this in order to tighten. Thank you, Queen. What great eyes you have. I follow a holistic approach with all areas of my beauty. I use MYWater on my nails, I use MYWater on my face, and I use MYWater on my hair. And let me tell you something, my nails, my skin, my face is healthier than it ever was when I was using tap water soap and moisturizers that kept me having a pimple. It kept my face all blotchy, and I never really understood that it was that stuff causing my skin to struggle. So now I'm ready to apply my large satin scarf. It has to be this large. You see how big that is? Like big, big. In order to get adequate coverage for your head. A lot of women tend to buy shoulder scarves. That's too small. And I know a lot of women that are actually putting do-rags on their heads, and that's too small. Do-rags are for men or for a fade. It's not for wrapping. So I do place the scarf back at the collarbone. You then pull down the tail to tighten the top. I then make sure that I tie on top of the Velcro so that I make sure I'm not buckling my hairs. Okay, then I pull down on the tail because that tightens the top. Now, because I'm getting in the shower, I don't want any of this to get wet, so I'm gonna pull the tails back to the back. I then pull it down and make what I call a tennis shoe knot in the back. Then I tuck it into the tail so that it's not hanging in the back. Then I take this part here, I do this little twisty-loo with my finger, and I tuck it on this side. And this is how I shower. My sideburns are covered, my earlobes, and this is proper placement. When you get done putting your scarf on, your earlobes should not be showing. If your earlobes are showing, that's why your scarf is popping off, because you placed it at the curvature of the head. The earlobe serves. E. Jarvis. E. Jarvis, good morning. They are in my Amazon store, E. Jarvis. I'll put them, it'll be in the description, all the links, the blow dryer, the flat iron, MYWater, what else? Everything will be in the description. And E. Jarvis, I would just like to thank you for taking the time to coach me, because it takes strong-minded individuals to, I call it check me. I don't think that's the proper word. That's what I used to use. But I want to thank you for taking the time out that you did to tell me the things that you did about me being unprofessional and about me talking about my past. You must be an older individual. Good morning, King Von. So I just wanted to thank you, because you're right with everything that you said. And it's hard to admit when you're doing something wrong and when somebody else has made a suggestion, and you then have to admit that their suggestion is better than what you're doing, right? So I just want to thank you, because you are a part of what I call my alliance that is not afraid to get on me. Like one day somebody said to me about my gum chewing. I used to get on here and chew gum all the time. Never saw that as a problem until one of my older alliances said to me, Tanya, chewing gum is so unprofessional. And she said to me, like, kind of like how you came to me, Miss E. Jarvis, are you a woman or a man? So that I can learn you a little better. And where are you joining me from? What state? I'm in Denver, Colorado. Well, I'm not in Denver right now, but I figured as much. We're the only ones that truly care. So again, thank you, ma'am, for, like I said, being one of my many alliances. So like I was saying, Miss Yvette, her last name is Jarvis, which made New York City. Greetings, greetings. Are you Yvette's sister? Because her sister lives in New York, and I don't know if her last name is, no, Jarvis would be, I don't know. That was just crazy that you have the same last name as one of my older alliances that got on me about gum chewing. And she reminded me of you, Eve Jarvis, because in her coaching to me, she said, you got great knowledge, Tanya. She said, you are forever dropping gems. She was like, but the gum chewing, she was like, I couldn't get past it, because I used to crack it when I would chew it, and you could see it because I'd be shifting it from side to side. And again, I never saw that as a problem with me chewing gum on a live or anytime you're speaking, right? So thank you again. I just have to thank you for being who you are and for helping me to understand what I'm doing, because I've never done this before, E. Jarvis. I have never embarked on a journey to help other people. I could start crying right now because I'm getting emotional. I'm an only child, and my mom, she was a strong woman, okay? And she didn't play. So she never joked around with me. She never, my mom never had fun with me, you know what I'm saying? And being an only child, I didn't have any brothers or sisters. And so I was always by myself, because my mom, like I said, she never wanted to play with me, and she never wanted to, like I said, play around with me. So my upbringing was a little frustrating, because I was always by myself. I mean, even when my mom was at home, she never wanted to really spend time with me. She would go in her bedroom and she would shut her door. And I always felt like she was purposely shutting me out. And so it frustrated me, because I always wanted to be around my mom and I always wanted to be with her. But for some reason, it's like she punished me for what my dad did to her, and that didn't have nothing to do with me. But my mom punished me my whole life because of what dad did to her. So she also raised me to be stingy. I used to get in trouble for sharing my toys, and it was so uncomfortable because I've always wanted to share. I've always wanted to help other people. And I already know that this is not how we're supposed to be. I'm not supposed to be helping you. I'm not supposed to be sharing what I know. I'm not supposed to be giving you guys anything that I have. I'm supposed to keep it to myself. I'm supposed to be stingy. I'm supposed to be greedy and not share. Because my own mom taught me not to share. She told me to my face many a times, Tanya, if you share what you know, you're never going to have anything. And I honestly would get in trouble for sharing the things that I had with my friends. And it bothered me. Now, I could have been a different woman as a child. And I could have chose to believe or to do what she was telling me to do. And I'd be just like a lot of these women of the world today. Because I see these ladies are just like my mom. They don't want to help nobody else. They're mean. They're not nice. They don't compliment anybody. They're not trying to help nobody either. They're only worried about themselves. Then they got the knowledge. They know how to do things. And they're not coming on nothing trying to share or help somebody else. Regardless of how I speak and what I talk about, nobody else is trying to help me. None of you are getting on social media and educating me instead of just showing me what you're doing in a video. I'm actually trying to break things down for us so that it's not confusing, in an effort to help other journeys not be as hard as mine, So growing up with my mom was not easy. Man, it was not easy. I was a latchkey kid, y'all, starting at the age, I was in third grade. I was already a latchkey kid. I don't even know if some of you know what that means, but that means that I'm by myself, letting myself into a home, an empty house in the third grade. That's like 8 years old. That's pretty young, y'all. I don't know if any of you were forced to have to enter in an empty house by yourself and then stay there and by yourself all night. Just imagine how you might have ended up as an adult if your childhood was the way mine was. So regardless of how my own mother raised me, I get it. I know that most people, but even behind the chair, there are so many stylists right now that are like mad at me because I found a new approach. I found a better way. I don't understand that. I'm not coming with something that's going to hurt us, another chemical treatment. I'm not coming with another bottle of conditioner or another jar of oil or something. I'm coming with solutions. So I now get it. I understand. I'm not supposed to be helping no one. I'm not supposed to be doing what I'm doing. And that's why I struggle, Miss Jarvis, because my upbringing and my own raising and training taught me to not share. So I think this is what makes my mindset dip back into those arenas that I've come out of, because I'm trying to exemplify to everybody that does see these lives that I've changed and that I'm trying to do better. And I'm trying to do different things that I don't see many other women doing. There's a lot of individuals behind the chair, but not many have classes and training and education to offer you. So I just, like I said, thought that I would try to be different, try to be the change that I couldn't find. I couldn't find nobody to help me. I went to multiple stylists asking them, why is my hair shedding so much? And that I was already doing deep conditioning treatments and using protein on my hair. I couldn't get any help. Nobody decided to help me and share with me what they knew. So I always tell everybody, so here I am, trying to change and be different and be an example of what we are supposed to be doing and how we're supposed to be doing things. Thank you. And honestly, E. Jarvis, I'm going to give you both my link because I'm almost completed my Amazon process. I've almost completed my Amazon process of putting my product on Amazon. It's not easy and it's not cheap, but I'm about to go ahead and purchase my UPC codes so that my product can be on Amazon along with all of these other amazing alternative solutions that I have found. But I don't have anyone to help me financially either. So I have to do all this stuff myself. So eventually I will get the money to purchase my UPC codes. And I'm doing this for everyone else so that I can make things more easier for others. And it is painful. This is why so many individuals are stuck and stagnant in life, because it's hard to invest into yourself. It's hard to educate yourself. It's hard to change. It's hard to elevate. I get it, but I did it. And I'm hoping that I inspire others to want to do it too. And then use me to help that your journey will not be as hard as mine. So, oh my God, thank you, Vaughn. You're so sweet. I'm gonna send you Vaughn, would you like some product? You got the mindset, Vaughn. You are one of those ones, you got it. You got it in you because you're a giver. And that's what's hard to find. Some other people are takers. They're constantly just taking, but they never or hardly ever